Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Prime Life. My name is Mohammed Choonara, and this evening we bring you a deeply important and timely conversation, one that speaks to justice, humanity, and the power of conscience in a world too often defined by silence. Joining me for the special discussion is Her Excellency, the former ambassador to South Africa from Turkey, and a diplomat whose voice has consistently stood for peace, humanism, and dignity in the international arena. We're going to be speaking to Her Excellency Ayşegül Kandaş, as well as a surprise guest who's running a bit late in Cape Town at the moment. Your Excellency, welcome to INX Prime. So before I let the cat out of the hat,
Yes.
we're just waiting for our special guest to make her appearance. I know she's busy in a conference at UCT at the moment.
Yes.
Your Excellency, you were at the Francesca Albanese talk yesterday on Saturday at the Cape Town, at the Sandton Convention Center. What did you make of the talk?
It was very impressive, I have to say. But I was there at the Nelson Mandela Foundation the night before as well, at the opening of the exhibition. So in both occasions, it was very heartwarming, I think, and also very exciting to listen to somebody who is talking truth and who's got this passion for her work and talking truth to power, especially to feel the energy at the convention center together with 3,500 people watching, applauding, standing up in ovation, listening to her like a hero. That was, I think, a very extraordinary experience, because there aren't so many occasions where we have an audience of 3,500 people, a big convention center packed with people, and the authenticity, her authenticity was remarkable. Her honesty, authenticity, I'm not going to say, of course, courage, but her passion, obviously courage, but more her passion for her work comes out. So in that respect, I think we could all feel the energy and we could all feel the plight of the Palestinians.
You spoke about being there at the Mandela Foundation on Friday night. I was there with you, and we saw the displacement. Exhibition. Just thinking about it as let's not put religion into it. Let's put humanity into it. To see a nation being displaced in such an inhumane way makes us think that the world is so silent.
Definitely, and she always claims to speak for the silent ones, to make those voices heard. And so it is very important to have somebody like her, a woman leader, talking about the ones that are silenced, let's say. Yes.
You always, you have a show on our channel also about empowering women. As a woman, when you see somebody like Francesca Albanese speaking and showing so much courage in the face of so much criticism, we've seen her being attacked in so many quarters. In fact, on Saturday night while we were at the event, court papers were served on her. Mm-hmm. We've seen how courageous she is. How does it make you feel as a fellow internationalist, as somebody who spends time in the public eye, who's also worked so hard empowering people, not only women? You work with children, you work with young boys. Is she somebody you look up to?
Definitely, she's a role model, I think, for all of us, all diplomats, for instance. And I think we always say she's the first woman to hold that mandate at the UN, right? I'm just hoping one day there will come a time when we will say, he is the first man to hold that mandate. You see what I mean?
Yes.
It shouldn't be such an extraordinary thing to have the first woman in a certain role in this life. But at the same time, her being the role model, that's very important and inspiring for the young girls of our time. And I do believe that in peace diplomacy and international relations, we need more women around negotiation tables and mediation efforts around mediation tables. And we need more women who will speak up. Why? Because maybe we bring the let's say, more emotional and humanistic side of international relations, being mothers, taking, thinking about the future of the children in Palestine, in the whole world. So women are the best peacemakers, I think, in the world. They have to be, So that's why.
But thinking about it, and please just understand the way I'm going to phrase this question. We always say the woman's going to bring the motherly instinct to it. I've worked with you for many years now, listened to Francesca Albanese speaking also. You may not, you'll still bring the humanity, you'll bring the more motherly instinct, the maternal instinct, but it's still going to be done in the right way because of the professionalism that you show. So it's not only there that we shouldn't be looking at women in powerful positions only for that reason. I think you may be doing a disservice to yourself here by saying that, because I know I've seen the work that women have done, and I think they can do sometimes even a much better job than men.
You are so right. We need to maybe grab those spaces, and we need to, it's just a matter of taking your place in certain spaces. For instance, in peace diplomacy, it's about negotiations, it's about, all that effort that we put in. You are right, there is the professionalism, and there is also the soft touch. So women can be very strong, but in soft-spoken voices and not in aggression. Aggression and war-making seems to me is the space of men, the war-making machinery. So in that respect, if more women are in those spaces, I would feel there will be a gentleness and there will be a softer and humanistic touch to international relations if we have more women.
Definitely. Ambassador, we can let the cat out of the bag now. In approximately 3 to 4 minutes, we'll be joined on our channel by Francesca Albanese, live from Cape Town via Zoom this evening. Francesca will be chatting about her life, some of her works, and I think we're both very excited to have this chat with Francesca, somebody we all look up to. We know she received a lot of criticism. As a diplomat, as somebody who's worked in very tough situations yourself, how do you deal with the criticism? We know there was a difficult time in your country's history as well, and I mean, you were the face of your country now in South Africa as well. But how do you deal? I mean, how did you deal with those criticisms?
I think if truth is your compass and if dedication and devotion for the service of your country is your compass, like I think for Francesca, it's for the service of Palestinians, humanity in general, her compassion. If you have that compassion and that sense of duty to your country, you do not falter. You do not give much credit to the criticisms around your job. If you believe you are doing the right thing as sanctioned by your government, your state, that's where you stay, on the right path. I think like her powers and in general, the power of good diplomats comes from the belief that you are doing the right thing. And that is powerful in itself. Truth has its own power. So criticism at the end of the day can become just noise. So you just need to distinguish,
So what you're saying makes so much sense to me. You need to take the criticism and look at it as being just noise, but it can also tend to be very personal. We've seen with Francesca Albanese, the criticism has become really, really personal, where her bank accounts have been closed. She's faced sanctions by other countries. Today, in fact, I was reading a whole lot of articles on the attack she's getting personally. From your point of view, it's easier said that let's just take it as just noise, but you still have to have a very, let me say, thick skin and also be very strong in your belief.
Correct. And there are two things, sacrifice and integrity, I think. So sacrifice. She's sacrificing
Ambassador,
a lot from,
we are delighted now to be joined on INX Prime by the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Palestine, Francesca Albanese. Ms. Albanese, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Good evening, Ms. Albanese. I think your mic is just muted at the moment.
No, it's on.
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear now. Ms. Albanese, I'm joined in my studio by the former Turkish Ambassador Ayşegül Kandaş, and I leave it to you, Ambassador.
Yes. Francesca Albanese has been a powerful advocate for international law and human rights and the first woman to hold this mandate, a mandate that sits at the heart of one of the most contested issues of our time. Ms. Albanese, very honored and privileged to have you here with us today. So I'll just go right away.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead right into the questions. So your journey from Italy to the United Nations has been a remarkable one, your career. What first drew you to human rights law, and how did that path eventually lead you to Palestine?
What you said at the very beginning that I could hear, integrity and capacity to stand for others, which is what human rights are about after all. And this is, of course, the journey that has accompanied me throughout my life. And then, yes, this mandate in particular has requested a lot of sacrifice on my part, but also I have kept the light very, very clear ahead of me, the light of integrity and objectivity. My work is not simple, and at the same time is simple. It's to look at the facts and assess them according to international law. So what I've done is simply speaking truth to international law and denouncing the horrible reality in the occupied Palestinian territory as one of settler colonial apartheid that unfortunately has not been stopped. International law has been violated through and through, not just by Israel, but many states in international community, unfortunately, and this is to end for Palestine, but also for all of us.
Yes. Before your UN mandate, you worked extensively with refugees and displaced persons. How did these experiences shape your perspective on justice and humanity?
Totally. The fact of knowing what Palestine and the Palestinian people have endured over decades is what has made myself so aware not only to the injustice, but to what injustice has done to the people. Pain, sorrow, humiliation, and indignity. And this is why I demand member states to end all of these and to restore a sense of trust in international institutions and in international law.
Ms. Albanese, it's Mohammed Beki again. You've spent a few days in South Africa. We heard you at the Nelson Mandela lecture speaking very highly about South Africa. But how do you see the role of countries in the global south, including South Africa, in advancing justice and accountability on the international stage?
I see this work, this role, as yet to be accomplished and yet to be fulfilled. In the sense, while South Africa has played an incredible role in filing the genocide case before the International Court of Justice against Israel for violations of the Genocide Convention, I do expect more from other countries in the global majority, those countries that have once broken the chains of colonial oppression. But of course, that job is unfinished, and it's true in this continent, and it's evidently true in Palestine. So this is the time to give full meaning to global solidarity. And we should remember that solidarity is not just a word, it means action, it means standing together for one another.
You've been accused of many things in the last few years. You've been accused of being anti-Semite. We've seen so much personal criticism thrown at you. But in this time, what does impartiality versus neutrality mean to you in practice? especially when human rights are being violated at such a high scale, especially what we've seen during the genocide in Gaza?
Look, I can tell you, denial of genocide, for example, is one of the constitutive elements of genocide itself. How can we prevent something that we refuse to see? And this is part of the explanation of why any voice that has stood against the oppression, the violation of rights and freedoms of the Palestinian people has endured what I do endure. Smear, vilification, personal attacks that have become more and more violent, almost to look like a form of persecution. But at the same time, there are two things that matter for me. One is that the work of liberation is not of one people alone or one person alone. This is a test for humanity, and we need to respond together to this system of injustice. And whatever is being thrown at me and others, the Palestinians first and foremost, is just a set of ways and means to distract us from what matters. We are attacked so as to be silenced, so as to be made vulnerable, and so as to make us dysfunctional. And the moment we realize that we cannot be controlled by fear, fear loses its power, and intimidation loses its power. And yes, let them continue, Bark. We need to fly higher and higher for all of us.
Very good, yeah. You've described human rights work as amplifying the voices of those not heard. What voices have impacted you most in your time as rapporteur and also in your whole career? I'd like to ask you. Yeah.
Well, there are far too many intellectuals and far too many freedom fighters that I can list here. But those I mentioned in my Nelson Mandela lecture, that I was really privileged and honored and humbled to be able to deliver here in South Africa. From Gramsci to Mandela, there is an entire universe of enlightened people who have paved the way toward liberation, not just in South Africa, not just of this continent, but also all of us, including in the global north, which I call the global minority. Today, so many people are understanding that they are, in their effort of liberating Palestine from oppression, they are also liberating themselves. And in this sense, over the journey of the past 2 years, I've been inspired by so many individuals, ordinary people, teachers, students, and anyone who has endured sacrifice in order to be part of this togetherness. I keep on saying, we are in this together, and while we do that with a sense of awareness and pride, we are one.
Thank you. What would you say to young women, especially those in the global south, who aspire to careers in international law and advocacy, but fear the backlash that often accompanies moral courage?
It's not just about the path that you choose, whether it's of international law or not. Human rights belong to us, not just to lawyers. Human rights are not for academics to write expensive books that we are just asking students to read, and then we get uncomfortable when they use those concepts to vindicate those who do not have rights, those who do not enjoy those freedoms that we proclaim and we teach. Human rights belong to all of us, to each of us, whatever the path we are on. Therefore, it's to continue following the path for justice, because this is what is going to make our life decent and humane.
Francesca Albanese, it was an honor and privilege having you in our studio this evening. Before we let you go, on behalf of the ambassador and myself, we know you spent some time at Robben Island today. In less than a minute, just tell us your feelings of being on this historical island.
This was the second time I visited Robben Island, and something that I hadn't noticed or hadn't really struck me as it did today was the fact that apartheid was reproduced, including within the cells, within the space of that prison. The fact that distinction among human beings was reproduced through meals, through spaces, through clothes. But this is the thing. The system of oppression will always keep us into roles. And decolonizing our spaces means realizes that whatever privilege we have to renounce it. Enjoying rights is about renouncing the privilege we have. And this is not a sacrifice. This is an act of love. It has been done inside Robben Island, and it can be done elsewhere.
Ms. Albanese, thank you so much for your time this evening, and we wish you all the best as your trip to South Africa comes to an end.
Thank you so much. And please
Thank you so much.
continue to inspire and motivate us on the path of truth. Thank you.
Wow, that was such an amazing interview, and just getting a whole lot of different opinions, and just listening to Francesca Albanese speaking.
Yes.
She speaks with so much feeling about what's happening in Palestine. What did you make of it?
Wow. Very impressive, and the sincerity and the honesty that you see in her is also special. I think I'm telling you this as a diplomat for the past 31 years. What I have seen is this. You know, you stick to the script, you stick to your instructions, and you might lose a little bit on the sincerity along the way when you need to defend the position of your country and all that stuff. Diplomacy is not exactly very much authenticity. You see what I mean? You cannot be like yourself as if you are in real life. Diplomacy comes with protocol and all kinds of stuff. What I have seen in Francesca Albanese is that she cares about the content and what she is doing. She cares about the plight of the Palestinians more than about herself. Just before we started, we were talking about, you know, how much personally she has to sacrifice. This is called sacrifice. She is sacrificing from her private life, first of all, her children, her family life, and also financially even. But she does not care because she is like in a war, maybe, on the path of truth. So in that respect, I think she is powerful, and she does not want to, as you could see during her time here in Gauteng, in Johannesburg, she did not want to talk about her personal plight. She did not want to talk about herself, what she's encountering, her difficulties, because it is about the plight, the suffering, the sacrifice of the Palestinian people. And she is there kind of representing the unheard voices of women, children, and men in Palestine. So in that respect, I think we do have a lot of, I personally have a lot of respect for her, and I wish her all the best and all the success in her endeavors.
Ambassador Ayşegül Kandaş, thank you so much for co-anchoring the segment with me. We've been looking forward to this for the last 4 days. We finally got it. And it was I really enjoyed being in studio with you this evening, and hopefully it's the beginning of many more important interviews we can do together.
I hope so. Thank you so much.